All right, welcome back to the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. I want to say this name. I don't want to say it too loud because I feel like if I say it too loud, somewhere Doug Lesmerises is going to be like, oh my God, they're talking about Anthony Schwartz, and he's going to jump on our Zoom call here and jump on the podcast unexpectedly. So Anthony Schwartz, your 2021 third-round draft pick, the only third-round draft pick of the Browns in 2021, 91 overall. I actually remember when the Browns did one of those behind-the-scenes draft day things. Andrew and Kevin were standing in one of their offices, and I think it was Kevin who said something like, man, we got that guy in the third round. They were excited about this pick. Mm-hmm. It obviously has not worked out for a lot of reasons. Mary Kay, what do you think they got wrong with Anthony Schwartz?
Well, there's a couple of things. I had known for a while that, that Anthony was seeking some help, some professional help for his, for his issues, just in terms of emotional issues related to, and not so related to, football and trying to get out there and play this game. And then, of course, Ashley was able to actually talk to him about that and do a really nice story on that. But this is something that's been going on with him for quite a while. This was not something that just popped up, this season or even, a few weeks before we, got him on record talking about it. This has been going on for a while. So I think that's part of what went wrong here is that you really can't predict someone's emotional health. You can't predict that someone's going to get out on the field and start having, some issues with anxiety or whatever the case may be. So that has a lot to do with this. But I think just in general, that not only does Anthony Schwartz need to get emotionally, mentally well, but he also needs to get physically tougher. I mean, I just remember, just watching this one drill, and I think you guys might have been there too, where we were watching this one gauntlet drill where the receivers have to get through squeeze themselves through these pads, and he got stuck. I mean, and it was tough to watch, and that can't be at this level. So he's really got to work hard on his physical game, and he has to continue to work hard on his emotional game, which he's been doing for a long time. If he can solve those things, and those are pretty big things, then maybe he can take advantage of his speed and he can take advantage of the other skills that he brings to the table. But those things have gotten in the way for him and have really prevented him from being the player that the Browns think he can be.
Yeah, I mean, as Mary Kay was describing that drill, before she even got into the description, Ashley and I both nodded our heads because we knew exactly what you were talking about. That was a moment in training camp for sure, or early in the season, whenever it was. I went back. I randomly was looking at another draft receiver, one of these other guys that was a sprinter, world-class speed type of guy. And I kind of watched him a little bit, and I kind of got curious and went back and watched some Anthony Schwartz YouTube highlights. That's the film I watch on draft prospects, just full disclosure. And I kind of wish I would have done it a little closer when they first drafted him, because it was a lot of gimmicky stuff and it was a lot of straight ahead stuff. There wasn't a lot of hey, this guy's a receiver stuff. And I wonder if Ashley, the Browns just fell in love with that speed a little bit too much and thought maybe they could develop the rest of his game into being that complete, full receiver that they were hoping he could be for them.
I think they fell in love with that. And then I remember, them talking at the combine last year. They were kind of going back to that draft and talked about how good Anthony Schwartz was during the Zoom interviews. I think they fell in love with the speed and the football IQ, the acumen, and assumed, like you said, Dan, we can develop the rest. And that hasn't happened, for various reasons that Mary Kay laid out. So I do think this was for them so far, unless there's some miraculous turnaround for Anthony Schwartz on the field, this is a classic case, I think, of them falling in love with the wrong things during the draft process and overestimating how much they can do to develop a guy once they have him in their building. I just think it was never really lined up, like you said, for him to be successful right away, given what they needed him to work on and develop. And I think he maybe didn't have that luxury early on, and he's had the injuries. Of course, like he missed all of training camp, his rookie year, and then he got hurt. I think like one of the first days of training camp this year, his knee missed some time again. Like he's been through a lot injury wise too, on top of the mental health, the anxiety struggles. So I do wonder if they just kind of focused in on the wrong parts during the draft process and overlooked some serious red flags.
And he also got hurt early in his rookie year. Not like we're talking off-season program early. The little off-season program they had that year, he got hurt and he missed a good chunk of that soft tissue injury. I mean, the question, there is a bigger discussion.